Hello guys, back to the drama club. It is Saturday, Memorial Day weekend, long weekend. Um, and this is going to touch on a little bit of Brandon Martinez, but mainly update you about Evalion, who I've been sort of claiming that she had a coordinated psyop going on with the Goy, where she and Richard Spencer were pushing a anti-Holodomor narrative for whose benefit I can only imagine. I don't think it's for the Goy's benefit. I would think it would be good for Jews to say that no Holodomor was committed. No matter the rationalizations Evalion uses to justify this, and she's trying to come up with different rationalizations, the overriding fact is Jews benefit from the narrative with racialists if racialists can be convinced that the Holodomor was a fabrication and didn't really happen. Basically, what both Spencer and Evalion pushed. So I made a sort of a tongue-in-cheek video a couple of days ago saying that Richard Spencer had now hired Evalion on for his Secretary of State, and he's getting foreign policy advice. I did that because I actually heard the Evalion video before I saw Spencer's tweet, but I did see both after the fact. I'm not really sure which one happened first, but I assume they happened within days of each other, one way or the other. Interestingly, we have been tweeting Evalion and I back and forth pertaining to her innocence, three parentheses on each side. And she made some interesting claims, which I don't buy, especially now. I did make me do a step back for a second. She says she was wrong when she was promoting the anti-Islam agenda. Okay, let's see how you behave. But what she said today in her Twitter feed undermined everything, all of that statement. She said she was colluding with Richard Spencer. She didn't admit that she colluded over the Holodomor issue. But I find it interesting that it was those two that pushed this unusual topic into the forefront of dialogue. It had not been an issue before, so they brought it up together. That implies collusion, but when she admits that she's interacting with Spencer and they're working things out, that's circumstantial evidence bolstering my case, is what I'm saying. I don't think that looks good for Evalion. But it also says that she's working with the alt-right. Now, we have defined here at Blindlight that the alt-right is a Jew-op because they really seek not to bring the Jew into the discussion, and they are pushing Islamophobia. So Evalion's statement to me in the Twitter that she had seen the error of her ways, I'm not expecting her to follow through on that if she's actually working with the alt-right. Because if you're in the alt-right, you have to push the Islamophobe agenda. She also said she was false flag aware, but I have yet to see her come clean on a false flag. When she comes clean on a false flag, I'll believe her. So at this point, I think she's proven to me that as a op, she's a pretty good liar, and she's good at misdirecting attention. It didn't work because I had done my homework and I don't make split-second decisions whether to change my point of view or not. So I step back and I evaluate and I look for more evidence. Evalion has failed the test at this point. She is coming off more and more like an agent. The way she handled these misdirections in the Twitter, where she actually acted like she wasn't Islamophobic anymore, I now consider op-like maneuvers. I think she's pretty good. I think she's pretty good, and maybe I might have been exactly right when I said she came into the movement as a trained op. Not to say that she hasn't learned from her experiences. But remember, she popped into the movement talking about a knowledgeable source of who the Jews are and what is threatening white people as an 18-year-old. Need I remind you about Brandon Martinez coming into the movement like that? And need I remind you that this very Jew-wise 19-year-old has walked back that narrative tremendously. To where recently I found a secret videotape of Xander Fuerza doing an audition to join the alt-right movement as a paid spokesman. Now, interestingly, Xander's a rebellious sort, so he can't keep his mouth shut when he should. And when Richard Spencer went off on this Holodomor discussion, Xander just couldn't keep his mouth shut and called Spencer a Russophile or a Putin worshiper or something like that. So, Brendan, I wish you had come to me and asked me for advice before you had to come out against Spencer. I don't think that's a great idea for you joining the alt-right. I don't think it's going to help your case. But we'll see how it goes. We'll be watching you. And Evalion, we'll be watching you, honey. And you're doing a great job out there. Keep up the good fight for the Jews. Remember, I asked you which side of your family is Jewish. I'm waiting for that answer. And have a good weekend. If something new comes up to stir the pot, I'll be back on.